Burning questions ahead of today, or Wednesday's trade deadline, and ahead of today's trade, which is about to kick off, and we'll keep you in touch with it right across the day on SEN, but they've got until Wednesday night. So, Moons, good to have you talking some footy. We're allowed to talk footy because it's after 7. Yes, so we're ready to go. So, 2 first-round picks. Will Hayward, James Rowbottom, Charlie Curnow, Sydney. What do you reckon is going to happen with Charlie Curnow? Anything? Nothing? Something? Sydney?
I think, if I'm Sydney, I'm throwing whatever I can get him.
Okay.
Because that's their biggest, not their biggest, but it's one of their big letdowns, I guess, is a big key forward, a great key forward.
So Logan McDonald hasn't quite delivered.
Logan, Amadi, they're good players, but they're not great players.
Yeah. So you put a Charlie Curnow next to Amadi.
And it's the one thing with Sydney, and they've always had, that type of full forward, haven't they? Since Plugger, Barry, then obviously we've got Buddy. They just haven't been able to replace Buddy at the moment.
And they need the big marquee name.
They do.
I remember they still pull a crowd, but it's the party crowd, and sometimes they turn their back.
Well, I remember
don't even watch the action.
Roosie saying years and years ago that they could never afford to bottom out in Sydney because as soon as they do, they lose interest. And as you said, it has now become there's even speed dating at the Sydney Swans.
Well, I didn't know that, but I'm glad you obviously you have different contacts to me up there. So where would Charlie Curnow be best to go if he wants a flag? To Geelong or to Sydney? Who's got the best chance?
I think Sydney will be back.
Sydney will be back?
I think Sydney. That was the year I think Sydney probably needed to have. Every now and then you just need a bit of a reset.
Yep.
And after a couple of horrible grand finals, maybe just missing out on the finals, bit of a kick up the backside, all of those type of things. Coxie, a full year under his belt and a full pre-season under his belt now. I just think they'll be back. So, especially if they throw Curnow in the mix.
You and I were on Friday on SEN Breakfast. We were talking about the 3 first-round picks that were offered by the Cats to Carlton, but they were really going to be picks 20, 20 and 34.
They really copped a whack over that, John.
But you've got to do these ambit claims every now and then. So here's Andrew Mackey on Carlton knocking back their 3 first-round pick offer on Friday. So he didn't even call. He just went the text. Do you think the text just read no or LOL?
Tell him you're dreaming.
Yes. Here is Andrew Mackey on the fact that the Cats won't be trading any players at this stage.
Does this mean now Marshall's back on the table for Geelong?
You'd think so, because it'd be a really good get. I mean, in terms of what they need Marshall more, do they?
I think they need Marshall more than they need Curnow.
Okay.
I totally agree with you. That is, they throw Marshall in the ruck. I think that's a massive tick for Geelong. Obviously, Curnow would be amazing, but I still think their forward line, this is one of the best scoring forward lines in the competition this year. They don't need, it's not so much that they need that. What they need is a big ruckman.
So do you think the Cats are out now? They're not prepared to trade players. Carlton's knocked back 3 first-round picks, so the Cats are done with Curnow?
I would have thought, considering he just said then they don't want to give up some of their players, which they don't. But that's, to get someone like Curnow, you've got to give something big up, and they're not willing to do that. So I think Curnow's off the table, and I would have been going harder for Marshall than Curnow.
So what about Carlton? Do they take 2 first-round picks from Sydney plus Hayward? Maybe Will Hayward? Would you take that deal for Curnow?
So what are we thinking these first-round picks
Well,
could end
you
up?
think Sydney will bounce back. So if Sydney get Curnow... This is the
problem. They could bounce back.
Sydney get Curnow, they could play in the grand final in the next 2 years. So it might end up being the same as Geelong's picks were offered. It could be picks 20, 20 and 34, because the reason we're talking 34 in year 3 is because, for those who weren't with us Friday, Tassie comes in. So Tassie will get picks 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13.
They just get pushed back basically back into the second round.
Yeah.
Well, I think Sydney will probably, their numbers will probably do the same thing.
But won't they get the same? I mean, Charlie wasn't great for Carlton this year. He was good, but he wasn't great. Will having Hayward be better for them? At least they perhaps, I think Charlie needs a change, doesn't he? Does he need to change? I think
Charlie needs a change, but if you're Carlton, you're not going to change him just for the sake of it.
So you tell him to.
But I think I said this last week. I don't think Charlie and Mackay work great together.
Okay.
I think when one is there and the other is not, I think they play much better football when the other's not there. That's just my opinion.
Let me ask you a question that hopefully you asked Dave Matthews when he saw him yesterday and had, how many beers did you have with him?
Just a couple.
So hopefully you asked him after beer 3 and beer 13. If the Giants pay $700,000 a year if the Giants pay $700,000 and Melbourne pay $700,000, would that deal get done, Clayton Oliver to the Giants?
the way that he was talking, he was just waiting to see what Melbourne were willing to offer.
Okay.
So the more money Melbourne will offer, I think the more the Giants will be very much into Oliver.
And do you think there'll be a whole nothing to see here, nothing happened, you all made it up, Essendon, Zach Merrett hug? So there was never anything in it. You guys in the media beat it up. It was never that big an idea of Zach leaving. You guys are crazy in the media. We love each other. What are you talking about?
Did you listen to his BNF speech?
Yes.
Zach wants out.
Right.
It's as simple as
But
that.
they'll tell us we all read too much into it when they kiss and make up.
Well, I don't know if they'll say that, but they just at the end of the day, they're going to say, well, here it is. We know what happened. We're back together. We had a bit of a fight, had a bit of a tiff. Zach went and slept in the doghouse for 2 weeks. Now he's back in the main bed, and away we go.
Melbourne picks 7 and 8 for Christian Petracca, and he goes to the Suns. You happy with that?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Well, what would you take for Petracca?
No, I'd be more than happy with 7 and 8. Absolutely, I would be.
I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, so you're taking that of your Melbourne for me as well. And if the Suns...
Just speaking about Stephen King, though, he's just walked in. He's lost 2 of his best midfielders.
Yeah.
Gawn's obviously an absolute superstar, but he's getting on as well. We know that. Is it at a rebuild stage with Stephen King?
Sounds like it, pretty much. Well, Max Gawn, he's got 2 more years left, maybe, Max.
And I hope no one said, I think Moon's just put a line through Maxie already because he's old. But no, Maxie's a superstar.
Yeah.
But he's getting closer to the end. They've lost their 2 best midfielders. They're rebuilding.
Yeah, but maybe you don't need the best ruckman in the comp to win a flag these days. They've got the best ruckman in the comp now, but there has been a train of thought that when Max retires, then they won't be as good. But maybe you don't need the best ruck. Maybe they're better off reloading as a group of midfielders.
What's going on with Maisie, do we know?
Well, at the moment, it sounds like he's on the way out and he won't be coming back. So they can't. That's not a hug and make up.
Has there been any club there that's really...
I think he is going somewhere.
Put their hand up for him?
Well, there's a few. I think North Melbourne's shown interest in Leckalia. So North Melbourne might end up getting...
You're probably taking Lear over May.
You probably
because
are.
of the age difference.
Yeah. So the latest from Kautumi was that May looks like staying. So no one is actually...
I don't think anyone's put their hand up for him.
So they will kiss and make up then. Okay, well, wait and see. So St Kilda and Jack Steele look like they're going to go around another time. So Jack Steele might have to play some VFL games if he's not in their best 23 as it will be this year.
That's a hard fall from grace for him. He just back to the Melbourne one. So Matty Scarlett's been announced that he'll do a little bit of part-time stuff at Melbourne.
Right, so he will get the ferry over. We talked about it on Friday. He's going to get the ferry over to Casey.
Well, that was Tommy Hawkins, and that was the word Tommy was. I don't know if that's happened, but I think Scarlo's been announced that he's going to go up there for maybe a day a week, work with the boys up there.
One here on the text. North are the worst club at selling hope to its fans. They do need some backup in their back line, don't they?
Oh, massive. Yeah, that's. I mean, who they got down there? Pink's becoming a bit of a player.
Yeah,
don't mind him at the moment. But there are other players.
Griffin Logue.
Yeah, they're all getting a little bit older, and they're not at the top end. This other one here is just saying, why would we? Curnow's contracted for several years. Why would we help our opposition? And that is a fantastic point. Yeah, Curnow might want out, but why are you going to help somebody become maybe one of the premiership favourites?
Well, that's the thing for Leckalia. So the Giants still want him, but he's more of a chance to play in a flag for the Giants in the next 2 years than he is for North Melbourne. So what does Leckalia? Do you take less money if you Leckalia stay at the Giants?
But he's got to push out Taylor.
He's not getting a game at the moment.
There's a couple of boys,
Buckley
and Connor Iden.
Yeah,
those boys are absolute locks. So he's probably going to have to go if he wants 22 games a year.
Yeah. And under no circumstances should Essendon trade Merrett to Hawthorn unless, of course, they take Brad Scott as well. Brett from Bunyip is relentless.
Rest my boy.
Yeah, here he goes. And Jai Simpkin, the latest. He might be... Well, what's Jai Simpkin going to do? What's the latest there?
I don't know. Well, Jai Simpkin isn't an A-grader. And if he wants more midfield time, I'm not sure if he's going to get it at Collingwood unless he's willing to wait another 12 months until Pendlebury, Sidebottom, those guys retire, and then he can maybe shift in. But, I don't know. Maybe he's put his hand up a bit early.
And there's a few on the text saying it has been reported that May is staying. I know it's been reported, but just because it's been reported doesn't mean it's true. I can still see someone coming for Stephen May myself. I'd be getting Stephen May. So I reckon there is a few suitors that
Well,
might.
would you want him if you were lower down the ladder,
Or Collingwood.
or higher?
Yeah, either.
I think he's got a
Dogs.
bit of Brian Lake about him.
Yeah, the Dogs. Why wouldn't the Dogs go for Stephen May?
I banged my head over that one a couple of times, but they're very much like no.
I know that has been reported that he's going to stay, but I still think that there's a chance